What not to say when you're out house hunting. Hey, I'm Sheree Murray with Well Planned Move, helping you make wise decisions when it comes to your home and family. I'm here with my great friend and a real estate partner, Rachel Nichols, and we just want to give you some of the great tips on what not to say or do when you're at somebody else's home, when you're touring their house. All right, so
probably shouldn't talk about how ugly their decor is.
Yeah, so when you go into somebody's house, it may not be your taste. Their decor, their style may not live up to your opinions or whatever. So don't go busting out saying, you know, like that thing, that painting is the hideous thing on the planet. It is ugly.
Don't comment if they have a family portrait on the wall. Don't comment on how,
yes.
maybe if somebody looks kind of goofy. You know, don't go into that. You have to look past their decor. I always encourage people, don't get wrapped up in the way the house is decorated, good or bad. Look past the decorations. Look at the layout.
Yes.
Don't look at their stuff.
But remember, the reason for all of this is that we don't want the seller to get wind that you're saying these negative things about them, about their home, their life. At the end of the day, if they're there in the presence of your showing, or it's possible that they have a recording going on. It could be their security cameras, or maybe they have an audio recorder playing. Well, if they get wind that you're saying some pretty harsh things about them, their life, their house, it's not going to win you any favors. They're not going to get bonus points for making any of these comments. So we just want to give you some things that'll help you make good, wise decisions when you're out actually looking at houses. So yes, don't comment on their decor.
You know, so there's a big chandelier hanging over the dining room table that is not your taste, and it may be 50 million years old and just old school, ugly, not your thing at all. Okay, so make a mental note that you would want to change out that chandelier as soon as you move in, but maybe don't bash the chandelier. It could be a family heirloom. It could be something that's, you know, a historical piece that's been with the house for so long or something like that. Right. So maybe don't bash things like that, especially the things that will stay with the home. Right. You know, that you just don't want them to know that you're going to move in and wreck it all and change it all out.
Right. The renovations, like, you know, they may have built that house from the ground up. They put a lot of time, love into this home, and you come in and you're going to say, well, this is awful. I'm going to gut this. I'm going to tear this out. If you say it in a harsh, negative way, that's, again, not going to win you any brownie points here. They're going to look at, you know, if you come up with an offer and somebody else comes in with an offer and they know that you had sort of some negative comments about what, you know, this house looked like, they may go with somebody that's going to love this house as is, and they don't want things necessarily to change.
Don't talk about what you can or cannot afford.
Oh yeah.
While you're in the house.
No.
Whether you can afford more than that house or that you can't afford that particular house. Save those conversations for when you're standing outside, you know, in the driveway with just your realtor, or once you get back in the car with your, you know, with your realtor or with your significant other or your spouse or whoever you're visiting with. Keep that stuff to yourself, because if they, by chance they are listening, you don't want them to know what your financial situation is, whether it's good or bad, whether it's something that could work in their favor or not. Right. So just keep that information kind of closed, tight-lipped.
Yeah, tight-lipped.
Tight-lipped while you're in the home, just because you never know what they can and cannot hear.
Because they'll continue to try to push you to a higher price because they think that you can't afford more.
If you said while you were in there, well, I can afford, you know, we're qualified for this, but I'm not going to pay that. You know, then they know right there what your situation is, and they can try to get some more money out of you.
Yeah. So another thing is, don't go in and automatically be saying out loud, hey, this is our dream home. We have to have it. We want this house no matter what it takes. because if they know that that's going on, then again, they're going to push you to the higher price. It's just going to work in their favor when you do that. So it's fine to say it, say like, we love this house. It's a great house. It's definitely at the top of our list. But if you go in automatically expressing that with enthusiasm that this is your house, well, they may use that again to work in their favor.
Just try to keep your emotions in check.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is through the whole home, I don't want to say the whole home buying process, but the whole house hunting process, you got to work hard to keep your emotions in check. And I know sometimes, especially with first-time homebuyers, like it's so easy to get emotionally attached. You walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, this is everything we want. This has, plenty of kitchen storage, and it's got all these bedrooms and this and that. And this, I always wanted, wood floors, and this house has it, and whatever. It's really easy to get emotionally attached. But don't, if you can at all, don't get emotionally attached until you know that it's yours. And even still, a lot of things can happen after you've already gotten under contract. You think that this is the family, or the house that you're gonna live in and build your family in, and then something major could happen and it all falls apart and you have to walk away. So really, until you've got those keys in your hand and you have all access to it, you got to keep your emotions in check. It's hard though.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
Once we find things that we love, especially a home, that's like the biggest, it's for most of us, it's the biggest investment we'll ever make.
Right.
And it's the biggest, the biggest purchase we'll ever make, our biggest asset that we'll have. And we're going to build a family and memories, and it's an emotional process. But got to try hard to keep it in check.
Yeah, and your realtor's there to help you with that too. So if you need to express any of those emotions or thoughts, do it with your agent in a private setting. You can even walk outside a house and have those conversations. So just know that. Something else is that we need to be careful what we ask about the sellers. One is we don't really need to ask their motivation for moving, or what they do. This information is pretty much confidential. It should be confidential. People move for a variety of reasons. Some are good, some are bad. Think about it too. Like, people may have lost a loved one. They've been through a divorce. There are a number of things, but at the end of the day, that information is just really belongs to them. And you're basing your decision on the house. Is this house going to meet your needs?
Yeah, and that's really, that's one of a realtor's biggest jobs, is to keep our clients' information confidential, whether I'm working on behalf of a buyer or a seller. Nobody needs to know what your motivation is for buying the home, just like nobody needs to know what the seller's motivation is for having to let it go, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, goes both ways on that. Okay, so here's another one. You may be driving down the street and there are neighbors outside, and you stop to chit chat with them and ask some questions about the neighborhood or whatever. Avoid asking them about information about the sellers. Again, it's private information. You don't need to base your decision off of the seller. You need to, again, base it off of the house.
The house, yeah, absolutely.
And if they decide that they just don't feel comfortable talking to you about this, then don't push the issue. Just say thank you and move on.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely good advice. And where the neighborhood is concerned too, this is a little bit of a different thought. I always encourage people, if you've fallen in love with a house, you think you want it, you think it's everything you need, go park in the neighborhood at different times of the day and just scope it out. Just watch for what kind of people are outside playing in the yards or outside in the streets, or are there people out? Are there a lot of young families that are outside, or is it a lot of older families that stay inside or maybe are gone for activities and things like that? So scope out the neighborhood, but don't get nosy with the neighbors.
Don't be creepy.
Don't be nosy until you've already owned the house.
Yeah.
Then you can do whatever you want.
And it's okay to ask questions related to the neighborhood. What is their favorite thing about the neighborhood?
Do they love the schools?
Yes, school system, the area of town. You can ask some general, broad questions, and that's safe.
Yeah, but don't be like, what's going on with these people? Why are they moving?
Okay.
It's none of your business.
So avoid trying to get in other people's furniture and, but don't go laying on their beds and getting into their personal belongings.
Yeah. So if you forgot to brush your teeth this morning, sorry about your luck, but don't do it at their house.
No.
And I know sometimes those nice made up beds for showings look really comfy, but don't take a nap.
No.
And so that's another thing too, when you have small kids with you while you're looking at houses. I totally speak from experience on that. It's very challenging to keep young kids off the furniture, out of the I have a 2-year-old, trying to keep him out of other people's cabinets.
Yep.
I can't even keep him out of my cabinets. So, as much as it's as fun as it is to involve your children in that process, if you can, maybe try to make it a kid-free experience.
Yeah.
Just to at least, we can't control the adults. We're adults. And so, I can't necessarily stop you from jumping in their bed, but I would strongly advise that you not do that. So.
And remember, there might be security cameras watching you get in their bed. That's not going to be a good thing.
No.
So again, could be used against you. Okay, so don't mention that the house is overpriced or unreasonably priced out loud.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. They may, if it is, they may be aware of that, but that's not something that you need to harp on while you're there. Yeah. That's another one of those private conversations to have with your realtor, because your realtor is going to do their due diligence in researching the neighborhood, looking at the comparable homes, and making sure that it's fairly priced. And if it's not fairly priced, they're going to help you find, and land on a fair price to offer for that home. So.
Right.
What else?
Is there anything else?
I don't think so. Just watch your mouth. Watch your mouth when you're in these houses.
What about taking pictures inside a house?
What do you think?
I lean towards not doing that.
Yeah.
It is, you've got the pictures online. So it's out there. You can look at those pictures on another day. You're taking pictures without the permission of the seller. And that just seems to be a no-no.
Especially if the house is occupied. Like if their kids' pictures are on the walls or anything like that. There's, personal items, because you could go put those items on Facebook and somebody's going to look at your Facebook pictures and think, oh, I like that. And what if they have a break-in? That's worst case scenario. But you just really set up, the possibility for some exposure that's not good.
Yeah.
So
these are really good, guidelines or boundaries, if you will, to just protect yourself. When you're getting into making offers, you want to do what's best in the best interest of you, right? Just as the seller is going to do what's in the best interest of them, but keeping yourself in check is going to help you in the long run. So
on your best behavior. And hopefully your realtor will help encourage you and remind you those what not to do, but also what to do. There are plenty of healthy conversations you could have while you're in the house, and but there are a lot of things that you probably shouldn't share while you're in the house.
All right, I hope these tips really helped you and give you a clearer vision on what to do when you're out house hunting. We'd love to hear comments down below, and I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.